You feel. He said, just sit down on the piano, record everything you come up with. Write down, if you can, the chords that you play. He said, but just play what you feel. And that's when that whole creative thing kind of birthed in.
So you've got both.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now you notice his mic technique versus mine. Rodney's like this. He's like,
it's old rap technique.
Yeah. Yeah, make sure you hear it. When did you write your first song?
You know what? I wrote my first song probably when I was like 7 years old. I wrote, you know, I used to write poems. And to me, a poem is nothing but a song without melody. So I would write poems, mainly to my mother. You know, I would write these different poems to her. She still has them, actually.
I bet. I would have them if I was your mother. I'd keep them.
Yeah.
Do you generally compose on piano still, or
every day?
But that's your first place you start?
Every day. I love it. You know what? I wish I could play the guitar. I kind of want to take guitar lessons now because I've been playing the piano my whole life and I compose everything on the piano. But something of the way a song is written from a guitar perspective to me is even a little bit more, I don't know, just a different melody comes from the guitar to me. Mm-hmm. So I would love to play the guitar, or at least learn how to play it.
So the answer to beats before melody is melody for you?
Absolutely.
Where do melodies come from for you?
I think God, you know, I think God just birthed me with a creative. He's the creator, so I just owe it all to him. Like he gave this creative gift to me.
Yes.
You know, I pray and I just say, God, whatever you want me to do, use me to do it at the best of my ability, and then it just comes out of me.
So not anything particular, you just sit down and...
No, I'm not going to look at that wall over there, and I can write a song called White Wall right now.
And a poem about it too, probably. Do you prefer to write alone or to collaborate?
I love collaboration. Because I feel like I never want to be the best person in the room. I like the fact that I think that, you know, I've never been that good at individual sports. You know, I feel like you have to be a team player in order to win. And when you put everybody has different gifts and skill sets. Mm-hmm. So if my skill set is melody and piano, then his skill set might be drums, and his skill set might be bass, and she might be a better lyricist. So to me, it's teamwork. It's finding the best team possible to get the product out.
I love what you said about not being the best person in the room. You don't want to be the best person in the room. That's an amazing way to live your life, to grow and be confident when you're around people. And what is your definition of a producer? That's always sort of hard to define.
See, people, I think the producer is, and you know, if you had to have an analogy of it, a director of a movie. Like, we have to oversee everything. A lot of people are actually misusing the word producer nowadays, because a person might think if they make a beat, they're a producer. That doesn't make you a producer. A producer has to see it from the beginning to the end. So it's the creation of it. You don't have to create the actual song to be a producer, because you can be hired to produce a song that was already created, right? But that process of how to take that song to the next level, to make sure, you know, from the chord structure to the engineering to the mix down to the mastering, everything is part of that process. And I feel like, you know, I try to encourage the next generation of producers to really understand what a producer has to do, you know, in order to be a top-notch A-level producer. You have to understand that you have to have all these different skills. It's not just making a track. It's really, you know, a great producer actually doesn't even have to touch a keyboard.
Yeah, right.
A great producer doesn't have to touch a drum machine or anything. A great producer is a great director.
You see the big picture and you get the job done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great description.
I mean, in detail too. I mean, it's in, you know, a couple of my engineers over there, Matt Champlin and Dylan, and they've been with me for a few years. And Matt just won his first Grammy.
Yeah.
Stay with me. stays in your Sam Smith. But they'll tell you, like, you know, like the process in producing, it could be as, you know, a track as simple as just changing a snare. Like literally, you can have a whole song could be done in its entirety, and I could walk in and be like, snare's not right. We got to get that snare right. Change it. Let's try this snare. Let's try this snare until we get it to the sound. We did it yesterday, matter of fact, right? Sonically, until we get it right. I mean, that's part of production. It's called production value.
So how did you become a producer?
Teddy Riley.
That's my next question.
Yeah, I don't want to take all the credit away from, like, my brother was a big influence too in my house, because he was doing a lot of local things and a lot of local projects, and I would listen to him making music, and that inspired me to want to be a producer. But when I got around Teddy Riley, I was 14 years old, and I had the opportunity to meet Teddy, and watching him work, and watching his drive and his desire is what made me really believe that I could make it.
So what else did you learn from him besides drive and desire?
I learned melody in music, and how important melody is in music, how to make timeless records, to make sure you make records that aren't just here for today and going tomorrow, but records that will play for the rest of your life. I learned, I try to take something, whether it's the good or the bad. So if it's something that I feel that he might not have been doing right, then I look at that and say, okay, I'll make sure I never do that. And so I learned a lot just from sitting under his mentorship.
Yeah, so sitting with someone and seeing what they do and what they do right and what they do wrong.
Absolutely.
What works.
And bringing it into your own repertoire and learning how to be one of the best. Don't be content with just being okay, because we can all be okay at something, but you want to be great at what you do. And so I used to watch him, and I would be like, man, this guy has so many hits, but yet he's still staying up for 20 hours trying to work on his next why. He doesn't have to. He really doesn't have to. He has a beautiful home. He has beautiful children. He has a great lifestyle. He doesn't have to keep doing this, but yet he's working like as if he's a newcomer. And so that would inspire me, and I would be sitting there and also learning to wait for your opportunity. Don't get frustrated. There was a time period where I used to sit in the hallway of Teddy's studio in Virginia on the floor, just waiting for my number to be called. Just waiting for the day that he says, hey, RJ, me and Pharrell, we were both down there at the same time.
Wow.
Waiting for him to say, hey, RJ, come work on this track. And it never got called. It would be like, yeah, man, you can come watch me today. And I go in and I just be watching him like a hawk, watch what he's doing, watching how he's working the board. And I'd be in there, and then I go back and sit in that hallway again the next day.
Damn.
Another day go by, I sit in the hallway. And ask Teddy, do you need to, and know he liked I know this is crazy, but he was like, he never wore the same drawers twice. So I go to the store and go get him whatever he needed, socks, drawers, t-shirts, whatever he needed. And I wasn't an intern. He didn't call me an intern, but I felt that it was a need for me to be an intern. And I would sit there and I would be humble and just wait. And when my number got called,